No.
Let's do some real politics now, and if you want to talk about staggering fall from grace here, and especially somebody with a famous name, look no further than former Illinois Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. He pled guilty to 1 count of wire and mail fraud, admitting he lived off his campaign and took $750,000 from his campaign funds, then used that to buy things like fur capes, Bruce Lee memorabilia, can't make this up, and a pair of hats that once belonged to, that's right, Michael Jackson. Jesse Jackson Jr. He'll be likely sentenced to between 3 and 4 years in prison when he returns to court in June. And Dom, for people who forget, he came to office with fanfare. He had this lined up. Obviously, everybody remembers his old man here, but it's just an example of, even if you're a talented person with the right name and the right connections, if you didn't have to work for it, and you didn't seem to, you get this sense of entitlement, and it just, I think, followed him from day one.
I hate to say it, Richard, he didn't have to work for it. I've known him going back to 1988, when I spent the whole year traveling around the entire world with him and his father, when his father was running for the Democratic primary in the '88 contest. And I always thought, I never thought that
Were you on the plane when he
I was
said
on the
that
campaign
anytime?
plane.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going there, but yes.
Yeah.
And I always thought that Jesse, that he wouldn't be the one to go into politics. I thought it would be Jonathan or the daughter, Santita Jackson. I never thought it would be him. He was very quiet, very reserved. He screwed up. Bottom line is, I think he never got over the fact that a senator from Illinois came out of nowhere and leapfrogged everybody in the political process and ended up becoming president of the United States.
Barack Obama?
No.
I was expecting that from him.
No. Competition thing. I think the Jackson family never got over that.
Next up, back to the drawing board for 2 of the most powerful and most controversial conservative organizers and financiers. We're talking about the Koch brothers, of course, Charles and David. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars of their own money here on conservative candidates in the 2012 elections, and they had very little to show for it when all was said and done. Now they're reorganizing with turnover at the top levels of Americans for Prosperity. That's the self-described citizens activist group that they funded and fund, which talks about views echoing or prompting, certainly many argue, the Tea Party. They're also forming a new group that will push Tea Party values on a state level, which may put them in direct conflict with none other than Karl Rove, who, as many know, not just couldn't count votes in Ohio, but also has launched a group aimed at defeating what he calls ultra-conservative Tea Party-type candidates in favor of people who are more moderate and more electable. And I don't think that this is a stretch to say you're starting to see the schism played out, if not on the national level with electeds, certainly on the level with the folks who are trying to get people put into office here. What are you more concerned about? That the Koch brothers are going to double down and try and push Tea Party types that I would argue lost them an easy Senate seat to win in Missouri as well as others, or that Karl Rove is saying basically he's going to try and take on the Tea Party and you're going to have an inter-party fight over conservative votes?
I disagree with your characterization.
Oh, come on. It's not debatable. They're going after Rove directly. The Tea Party finds him to be a turncoat. And he's saying, we got to face facts here.
You're saying the Koch brothers are equivalent to the Tea Party?
The Koch brothers are equivalent. They're actually funding Tea Party efforts.
You know who David Koch supported here in New York State? He's Andrew Cuomo when he ran for governor.
Well, he already called him conservative, but yeah.
Look,
they own
these people are.
They
don't own anyone. They just want to make. Do they own Andrew Cuomo? No.
Andrew, you're chomping at the bit. I'll let you take this. Koch brothers, Tea Party, correlation?
Absolutely, more than a correlation. There's an overlap. The term was astroturfing because they supported groups like Americans for Prosperity that claimed to be grassroots Tea Party groups that held the banner during the Tea Party's heyday of 2009 and basically turned that anger into political action that drove the 2010 midterm elections and went further towards 2012.
I didn't see them here. We won a lot of things here. I saw Tea Party.
The Koch brothers may have given money to Andrew Cuomo, but you can't argue that they haven't also funded groups like Americans for Prosperity and really provided the support for the Tea Party to turn it from a group of angry people into a voting.
Do you support Karl Rove's
Andrew
efforts?
Cuomo.
But do you support Karl Rove's efforts? Take New York out of the equation to say listen, guys, we got to find, first and foremost, electable candidates, okay? And if that means basically breaking ranks with a hard conservative lines that hurts us, meaning Republicans in primaries here, okay, and then brings the Murdochs and the rest of the world to what should be winnable races here, and then basically tar Republicans with these kind of crazy views, is Rove right?
You know who the biggest supporter of some of those crazy Republican senatorial candidates were? Harry Reid. He went out and put several $1 million into supporting, for instance,
let's
the
go back to
Republican
Obama being the Jesse
Excuse me, let me
Jackson.
just
Come
finish.
on, though,
Richard.
Ed.
Let me
And
just
I'm
finish.
saying that your
Harry
job is
Reid
to
made
elect
sure
guys.
that the most conservative candidate won by putting money
and
into
listen,
the Republican primary.
in the same chair that
He
you're
put
sitting
$2
in.
million
No, Ed, time out.
Ed.
The same chair that you're sitting in last night, Chris Shays. Okay, Chris Shays, the last Republican congressman, right, from New England. Okay, he said the biggest problem my party has is the primary. That you can't be a moderate and get through the primary process in American politics anymore in the Republican Party because of getting primaried here and who turns out for these primary elections. Rove is speaking directly to that point. Do you think that Rove has an issue that you guys missed an opportunity last year because the litmus test in primaries makes it so hard to have these candidates win in generals?
Look, it's always a problem between having a principal candidate and having one who's elected. And the Democratic Party struggles with that also.
Principle versus
Both.
expedience,
And
that's the choice of the Republican Party.
And
Those guys are
that's
crazy.
always a problem, and that's part of what, that's why I think it's important for the party to be involved in this, not necessarily outside forces.
It's too late.
Because the party, not necessarily. I mean, here in New York
Primaries
State, here in New York
funded by
State,
billionaires in the name of a populist movement are going to lead you to the road you're on, which is a split between the establishment candidates and the grassroots publicly funded by the
here
billionaires.
in New York
candidates.
State, Obama got 63% of the vote at the top. I think we only lost net one seat because we had good candidates who were electable here.
I'm saying that there's a decision that you guys got to make,
He
and I
changed the
think that
subject.
I know, and he's very good at it, by the way. I think that you guys got a decision right now. In many ways, what happens to Karl Rove, I think, will tell a lot between what happens between
Which
now
side
and
are you on?
2014.
Who are you backing?
Do you like what Rove's trying to do?
I think Rove did it very well, but because of the way the economy went, going at 3.1% in the third quarter of last year, Obama won, especially in states like.
Are you backing Rove or are you backing?
Yeah.
Koch?
I've tried this 3 times. Maybe you have a.
Who are you backing?
I'm for them both.
Okay. Yeah, well done.
And they're,
All right.
and
Let's
they're
talk
both
about a
good, and they're
Republican.
both good, Richard.
Let's talk about a Republican who doesn't need Rove and he doesn't need the Koch brothers' money either. I'm talking about the New Jersey governor. Chris Christie got an overwhelming vote of confidence when you look at the numbers here coming from his Garden State electorate. The governor just scored, get this, and Dominic, tell me if you can remember an elected who's got these kind of numbers, especially a Republican in a blue state. 74% approval rating, that in the latest Q poll. That's the highest score for any governor in the poll's 17-year history and the highest of any governor in the 7 states where Q polls are conducted. Christie leads the presumptive Democratic nominee for governor in his re-election this fall here, Ms. Buono, with more than a 37-point lead. As for the 2016 presidential race, Christie beats Andrew Cuomo in the hypothetical race, and he beats just about everybody with the exception of Hillary, and he's off by a couple points there. I don't care the reasons. That's amazing.
It is amazing. I tip my hat to the governor.
Thank you.
I've been critical of the governor. I just have one thing to say. Obama. Obama, Obama, Obama. When he embraced the governor, when they embraced each other during the storm,
Maybe that's 10 points, but he'd still be overwhelmingly popular in the state.
Don't forget,
This is true.
He is also a genuine Jersey boy, and that's the way he plays.
Do you think he plays
it well.
nationally?
That'll be interesting if a Jersey boy plays nationally.
Answer
and
the
he
question.
certainly didn't think it last
Answer
time.
the
He certainly didn't think
Richard,
it last time around. He won't have it.
I think he does.
He's not going to win re-election with 74%
I
of the
I
vote.
would agree with you, but
He
you got
doesn't have
see.
to.
No, I know, but he's not. His numbers aren't going to be where they
Well,
are, and his final
any
vote
more
is
than
gonna
Andrew
be where it is.
Cuomo's, we're at 75 and
Yeah.
understated.
the first time
He
he,
needs
yells
to
at
win
a
with
doctor,
55%.
Do you think Cuomo
Nationally-
plays nationally with his ratings?
Yeah, and the Democratic Party, yeah. But I don't think that Christie plays in the
His father
Republican
would
Party.
disagree with you.
Who
His
has
father
a, who has a
didn't think he'd
tougher
play.
year in 2013, Cuomo or Christie? Because it's going to get tougher for both of them. But who's got a tougher time?
It's going to be a tie.
You and him, you're killing me. All right, we take a quick break here.
From a mess.
Absolutely.
I'm not taking any positions, and I can't go back to the base and say, I'm with you.
We'll see if we can even disagree about spring training when we come back. When we do, we'll go to Port St. Lucie, where the Mets actually have optimism. We'll be right back.